Jay White is all elite, and it's all Vince's fault.
Switchblade.
Welcome to the Wrestling Council. Welcome to the Wrestling Council. I'm your host, Comic Book Bob. Joins us always my good friend Hollywood Frank.
HW, baby, right there, yeah.
You can catch us here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, catching all the news and wrestling. You can follow us on our social media there, crawling across the screen and at the bottom of the description. And yeah, interesting week.
Yeah.
Jay White is all elite.
It's a good week for AEW.
Yeah, it's a really, we're going to talk about that. It's a really, really good week for AEW. And not so good for WWE. This Monday was a little bit better.
Yeah.
A little bit better. But then again, you know, when you're coming off of absolute shit, you can only go up. But oh God.
Sad.
Viva la raza.
Best heel in the business.
Oh my God.
I don't know about that.
At least it's entertaining. But real quick, let's check in with the chat. Leg Kick was first. He said, "Hail, Comic Book Bob and Hollywood Frank."
Hail, Leg Kick.
Hail, Leg Kick. Sammy P back this week. He said, "Woo, woo, welcome,
Woo.
man."
Rob's favorite, the Four Horsemen.
Sir. Be the man, you got to beat the man. Matacito said, "Sup, Tito? What's up?" Matacito.
Sup?
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 Hello.
What's up?
What's
up?
But Sammy said, "Was Vince at Raw?" No, Vince was on vacation, wasn't he?
Who knows? He might have been part of the
Vince,
travel. Might have been having travel issues like half the roster.
Well,
did.
here's the thing, and then if you've followed Vince through the years, you know this. Vince doesn't like going to the West Coast. I mean, not the West Coast, to the East Coast. He doesn't like going to the East Coast. So him not being at Raw, not surprising. He did phone in. He did actually make some minor changes. Nothing big this week though. But the biggest issue with Raw this week was the travel issue. They had like half their friggin' roster was unable to travel. So,
yep.
Victor said all it takes is some travel delays to improve a show. Yeah, it's funny, man. Like the last time that happened was the Saudi Arabia thing, and it was actually a banger show because they brought up everybody from NXT, had them fill the gap. But and then Sammy P says, I thought Russo was rock bottom for content, and then Ancient Vince showed up. Yeah, you gotta remember that Russo was empowered by Vince, so stay on vacation.
Jim Cornette's buddy, Vince Russo.
Oh my God, dude! You know something? He actually said something this week that I agreed with, but then I didn't want to say that I agreed with them, so I just put in the comments and said that even a broken clock is right twice a week, twice a day.
Twice a day. Yep.
But what he said was really basic too. So, but Malacito's getting ahead of us. He said, "Good, FTR still all elite. The bad back in traffic. The ugly WWE's women's division, regardless of who's in charge. Yeah, it's looking pretty bad right now. Although they did make one good move this week.
Yeah.
Orange versus Dralistico. Yeah, that's badass, dude. Orange Cassidy is very underrated.
He
extremely underrated.
Oh,
move this from my mouth a little loud, but yeah, all right. Checked in with everybody, and then of course like I said, Mouse got ahead of us. But before we get started, we have our favorite little segment, a little something we call The good, the bad, and the ugly. I think it's your turn this week, right?
Yeah, baby.
What you got for us?
I could go with our headline for tonight, but we'll save that for our discussion.
Yep.
The good and new AEW Tag Team Champions FTR.
Top guys.
Top guys out.
Top guys out.
Well deserving. Two-time AEW Tag Team Champions.
Yep.
And
penning their what they claim to be is their final contract.
Yep.
After this, they're done. At least in the ring, they're done.
Now, I have not heard if it's like a 4 or 5 year. I'm not sure how long they've signed for, but sure it's a multi-year, at least 3 years. I'm assuming
it's at least 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So good to see that. You know,
and we're
they chose family over money because AEW has a lighter schedule, so more chance to spend time with the family. WWE's travel. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right, Maldacino. We'll give you a break, man.
Good, man.
Yeah. But at least TK gave the Ass Boys a really cool. Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna say this. Look, the Guns, they are a good comedy act. Okay. They're a little goofy. They're a good mid-card act. At some point, they may actually develop, because listen, look at where they are now versus where they were when they started. They sucked when they started, man.
Yeah,
they were terrible.
Yeah, they did.
But and now they're like, no, I wouldn't have put the tag belts on them. But then again, at the same time, Tony Khan was trying to build something. So
yeah. Hey, who you have FTR go up against?
Everybody
against the Acclaimed, Aussie Open.
Aussie Open's going to be great. Dude, they're looking. They're actually looking to go. If you like I said, you guys, if you're not listening to Dax's podcast, you need to, because he details a lot of stuff over there. The reason why they stuck around with AEW, there's multiple reasons, but one of them is they can wrestle anybody, anywhere. So
AAA, Ring of Honor, New Japan, Impact, if they really want to.
Impact, NWA, like they said, it's wide open. So the chance for amazing matches is there. So this was a career fulfillment choice, is why they went with this, and among other things.
You have them against the Lucha Brothers. Lucha Brothers are now Ring of Honor champions. So
Lucha Brothers, was it Gates of Agony?
Yep.
The Dalton Castle and the boy, and there's all kinds of Motor City Machine Guns, in Impact, freaking the God and Dangerous Techers and friggin' New Japan, even though technically Dangerous Techers isn't a thing anymore, but still,
and none of that would have been an option with the E. None of it.
Real quick, Simi P said WWE needs a women's mid-card belt. AEW needs stability in the locker room. Orange is underrated in my opinion. He's not a world champ, but definitely a very solid mid-card champ. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And the kind of guy that you can insert, he's that guy that you can insert into any match. And even though he is a kind of a joke character, the dude can go. I mean, look at that. Like we talked about it. That match he had with Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door. It's amazing. It's freaking amazing. Great counts. The AEW's quality of matches are horrible, and MJF is one note. I said it. I disagree completely, but that's cool.
Yeah.
FTR just didn't want to wear the leprechaun outfits Vince had ready for them. Yeah, the whole thing with Vince. Yeah, like I said, if you listen to Dax's podcast, he details a lot of stuff there, and Vince was definitely the situation with Vince was definitely part of it. Although he said that their decision was made before that, but it made it very clear. So
yeah, and the bad is the E, because right now they're
in turmoil,
putting a lock on bringing any new talent in. So if you're in WWE right now, there's
people looking to get out.
You might not be there much longer. because they're not, like I said, they're not bringing Tella in. They didn't bring Jay White in. They're not bringing anybody in. So
I can't remember her
um,
name. That they Deborah whatever, who's like the head creative officer for Endeavor or whatever. She said that they're looking to cut cost, and that's not good when you're renegotiating a contract and you want to be a top guy.
yeah. So
So
you know, was it 2 years ago they had that purge where they got rid of Bray Wyatt and
oh yeah, what was it
everybody,
over
like-
a 2-year period?
yeah.
And then this is leading up to the sale. A 2-year period, they got rid of like 30 or 40 something people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, purge,
So
purge, gone. The Iconics.
Yep. And
Cardona.
then within the first was it 4 months of Triple H's reign, he brought back what 18, 19 of them.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it's was it
Top dollar, your days are numbered.
Man, I feel bad for a lot of those people who came back thinking that things were going to be better, and they were better under Triple H.
They were,
and he immediately had turned to shit.
yeah. And then my ugly, back to the E. Oh my God. Hi Courtney, how you doing? Oh, I don't know. Ex-con Dom. Ex-con Dominic Mysterio. So that's ex-condom.
It's
But the women last night, I know they had to rewrite the show because of travel issues, but
yeah,
from the terrible suicide dive by Io Shirai
that was a
on
bad match. That's
Piper Niven
that's an uncharacteristically bad match from Io.
to the sloppy way Trish Stratus turned on Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
That a lot of the show last night smelled of desperation because they're like, oh God, we don't have the people we need, etc. We got to do what we got to do.
Don't get me wrong. The E has the best women's division in wrestling right now, but
as far as the talent they have, yeah. As far as the way it's being used, no.
Those spots last night were just awful. I mean, I don't even know if she even came close to hitting her, barely scraped it with that bump and then did the chick kick on her. It was just awful. Trish Stratus, no offense to Trish Stratus, but hopefully this is just about done with her, Lita, and Becky Lynch, because
yeah,
it's not good.
It's not, and we said that with the match they had at WrestleMania, that wasn't a very good match either. But this is what happens. This is the problem when you trot out these legends and you insert them heavily into storylines.
But the best thing they did was took the titles off of them and put them on Raquel and Liv Morgan.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. But at the same time, it's like, man, you are not doing those belts any favors.
Nope.
Doing this stuff. So it's like, unless you put some real effort into promoting these things, they're going to continue to not mean anything.
Yeah, and again, like you said before, it's a tag team that's just thrown together.
Yep.
Raquel and Liv haven't been together that long, and it's just that's where they're at with tag teams. I mean, you got Trish and Lita. Lita gets attacked, and can't wrestle, and then it's Trish and Becky.
Well, I think isn't she legitimately injured, and that's why they had to write her off?
She might be, but
yeah. I agree. Like if they wanted them to mean anything, and the fact that they look like they're starting to break them up is probably the best thing you can do for them, because you got you got Bailey and Io are two of the best in the business, and Dakota's not that bad either. So
no,
yeah, they're better off. They're better off broken up.
Jeez, what's the name of the toxic attraction?
Yeah.
Rumor that they be calling up soon. Hopefully, if they get called up, they'll leave them as a tag team. Put them in title match with Liv and Raquel.
Yeah, and I don't see Liv and Raquel hanging on to those belts very long, because we know that they're looking to push Raquel really heavily The two people that they're looking to push big time going forward is Raquel and Rhea.
Right.
So, the two biggest women on the entire roster. So
Raquel
But,
deserves a title shot, a legit pay-per-view title match versus Rhea Ripley.
yeah. Did they put well, the two he's talking the two people that make up Toxic Attraction. They're talking about calling them to the main roster. And you know how it is when they call people the main roster. What happened in NXT doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like they did break up. They broke up in NXT. As soon as they get called up, they could put them right back together again. That's the way they do things on the main roster. It's like they just get amnesia.
Yeah, and they turned Braun Breaker heel last week. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily mean if he gets called up anytime soon, that's where he's going to be at because.
Yeah. And like I said, if they called him up next week, they could make him a face again.
Oh yeah.
So it's whatever. And unfortunately, this is the situation we're looking forward to. Because even though like people are saying, well, Vince wasn't at Raw and he like that, Vince is going to have that itch and he's going to have to scratch it.
He's still pushing buttons.
Yep. Well, that's what I'm saying. We know who Vince is. He's a micromanager. He's not going to be able to help himself. Okay. It's going to happen. Like it's going to happen. He could say that Triple H is in charge all he wants.
Right.
The reality is Vince is going to come back and he's going to take over. That's it. Yeah. Sam said, make it make sense. Why should I waste my time watching NXT if they change everything? That's why Triple H had a problem with it. And yeah, this is like I said, man, Triple H, that guy's got the patience of Job, man. I'm gonna tell you, because having to deal with that senile octogenarian is gonna drive him would drive anybody crazy.
You think he's gonna last in the job?
I think eventually it's gonna come to a head, and I don't know what's gonna happen to him. If anything, he might follow Stephanie. And everyone's saying all this stuff like, oh, he's gonna jump ship, and he's not gonna do that. He's not gonna go to another company. He's not gonna start another company because he's got too much invested in WWE. He's a major stockholder over there.
He's set the rest of his life. He doesn't need to go anywhere.
Yeah, and of course, listen, Vince isn't gonna live forever. He's gonna. I mean, he's. I know he sold his soul to Satan, and well, whatever bit of soul he had left, and he's like eating all the friggin' baby embryos to keep himself active and going. So, but I don't know, man. I don't think Triple H will go. He's not going to go anywhere. He's definitely not going to go to AEW. He's not going to go anywhere else. He'll bide his time, and eventually, hopefully he'll get back where he was. But for the foreseeable future, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, come on. Vince will find another woman in his condo complex.
Listen, I'm not, like I said, I'm not real big into joke wrestling. I'm not real big into the like some of the goofy gimmicks and stuff like that. This has been the best that Dom has ever been. I will say that. And I do think they need to move on from it, though. I think they kind of went back to it this week a little bit because they didn't have any choice. But
yeah. What they're doing with Dom, breaking him away from his father, is
necessary.
Was necessary, but they need to do something similar like that with Jungle Boy.
Yes,
break him away from Jungle Boy.
Like we said, he's got to drop, just become Jungle Jack Berry. That's it. Just get rid of the boy. Let the boy die so the man can live.
So, what's your GBU, young man?
Oh my God! All right, so my GBU. According to Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, and all the parties involved, it is looking very, very likely that we will get Ospreay Omega 2 at Forbidden Door
2.
Yes, Forbidden Door 2. Yes, please. Thank you, God. Because, and if you guys didn't see it at Wrestle Kingdom this year, Omega versus Ospreay was amazing. It was legit 5-star match. It was the current guy who I think is the absolute best in the world, Ospreay, versus the guy who was the best in the world, Omega.
I thought the best in the world was CM Punk.
Yeah, sure, whatever, man. Sammy P said, "Peace, y'all. Catch the rest on the rewatch. No problem, brother. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it." And yeah, Forbidden Door 2 is looking more and more like it's going to shape up to be something pretty amazing. Yeah, dude, like I said, we were there last year at the first one, and it was awesome. And that's with the depleted roster. Hopefully, going in when they got a full roster, it's just going to be freaking balls to the wall crazy.
And as good as Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy was at Forbidden Door 1,
yeah,
which was one of the top 3 matches of the night, if not the best match of the night.
I would say it was the best. I think it was the best match of the night. But yeah,
how much better can it be with Kenny versus Ospreay?
We both watched Omega Ospreay 1 at Wrestle Kingdom.
Right.
It was like I said, it's contender for match of the year.
Oh yeah.
So it was freaking amazing, dude. Will Ospreay, like I said, I think he is the best wrestler in the world today, the best overall wrestler in the world today, and he was already amazing. He learned how to tell it. Since he debuted in New Japan, he learned how to, over the years he's learned how to tell a great story in the ring. Awesome promo, in-ring ability, second to none. Dude's awesome. He's absolutely amazing. So, and that will be the main event for Forbidden Door 2. I guarantee it. The bad WWE hands AEW a massive opportunity. Oh my God. Yeah, all this turmoil. Like, look, let's be honest here, man. After the scrum last year, it's like Cody said, AEW was damaged. They were absolutely damaged. And Triple H, being in charge of everything, he took full advantage of that. And WWE was pulling away from AEW. They were pulling away from AEW hard. I mean, AEW, like we said, we all knew it was going to eventually recover. But Triple H was building the gap, man. And then all this crap with Vince started up again. And immediately everything changed. Everything shifted. And then this week, with all the news coming out after the merger was made official, which it won't be completely done until the end of the year, but it was official and the transition was beginning. And as soon as Vince was back in charge, man, it was like a storm cloud just formed over WWE. All kinds of things. You think it was bad on camera. It's worse behind the scenes. It's so much worse behind the scenes. And on top of everything that's going on with like the hiring freeze and the issues with the creative, the hiring freeze caused a lot of change. A lot of change. What's up, Hicks Villain? What's up, Leg Kick?
Hi.
But and the obvious first the first thing that came out of this was Jay White signing with AEW. Even though everybody was I was like 75-80% sure he was going to WWE.
Oh yeah.
But Vince coming back has had massive effect. And we're going to talk more and more about that. Yeah, and AEW now has a huge opportunity. Not only do they have Jay White, who was without a doubt the biggest free agent in professional wrestling at the time, they now have an opportunity to capitalize on all this chaos. And we're going to talk about a couple of things going forward here that I think they're going to do. Like the other obvious one was that they re-signed FTR.
Oh yeah.
So, which is, FTR hands down best tag team in the world right now. So, but yeah, that was the bad. WWE shooting themselves in the foot a little bit here. Although I'm sure Vince is like, so upset counting his hundreds of millions of dollars that he made. And they say he made something like $270 million in one day. When they signed that friggin' merger, once it's complete, it's like, oh my God. The ugly. Another thing with WWE created, Drew McIntyre that situation is just starting to fall apart. Drew McIntyre unhappy with his WWE creative and his pay, as JD says, the 2 C's, creative and cash. The 2 biggest things in professional wrestling, the 2 biggest gripes in professional wrestling. And with Endeavor looking to cut costs, not increase them, it's very possible Drew's seeing the writing on the wall. He'll go to the place where they will pay him, and it's Tony Khan.
Yep.
And if he gets Drew McIntyre, that's huge. People may not realize that WWE did a terrible job of booking that dude during the pandemic, and his championship run was hamstrung by just bad creative. Drew is a legit talent, like legit, and like that match at Saudi Arabia when he was standing across from the Undertaker. That's when I always knew Drew was a big dude. Dude, he's staring eye to eye with Taker. That's how big Drew is. He's a big friggin' dude, but he's a big man that can wrestle.
Yeah.
That's actually really good, talented, and he's good on the mic. And people love the guy.
And he's only 37.
Yeah, he's
38.
fairly young.
He'll be 38 in June.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a big situation that's developing right there. And I got to tell you right now, I guarantee you friggin' Triple H is losing his mind over it. But yeah, that's and like I said, the more I dig into it, the uglier it's looking. But that's my GBU. Johnny, you got anything you want to add?
Nothing like that. I just have one question. How do we feel about All In Wembley Stadium?
I think it is incredibly. I think it's ballsy.
Yep.
I think it's the kind of big move that they need to make. I don't know that they're going to sell out a 90,000 seat stadium.
Even the E hasn't sold out Wembley Stadium.
Yeah. But I guarantee I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to end up being the biggest crowd that they've ever had. I could see them pulling 50,000 easy. It'll definitely be a 50,000 plus crowd. I could see as if they do everything right between now and then, I could see them maybe even getting around 60, maybe possibly even 70. Because you got to understand something about the wrestling in England and in Great Britain. They're starved for it, man. Because because of the pandemic, like wrestling died in overseas, and shows overseas like they don't happen as often. So could they? I mean, I don't see them selling out a 90,000 seat. Selling out 90,000 seats. I could see them maybe hitting 60, and at the absolute top end, maybe 70. But even if they do, even if it's only 50,000, that's 50,000 freaking people, man.
Yeah,
that's insane. There's no other there's only one other company that could pull that, and that would be the WWE. You know, that's it. So if they can pull, you know, and like I said, I think they can pull 50,000 easy. And that's that's true. In the UK, they have a larger audience television wise than they actually have over here. So it's, you know, it's just that it's split up between multiple countries, but at the same time, so it's, yeah, and they've got not only that, but it's very possible that by the time that show happens, Will Ospreay will be in AEW, and Will Ospreay is freaking huge in England because he's the face of Rev Pro.
Yeah, and Cornette mentioned it or maybe Dave LaGreca, I can't remember. Goldberg's a free agent, and Goldberg's a big draw. So if he get Goldberg, I hate to say it, but if he get Goldberg retirement match for All In, that would draw a lot of people too. And
that's the other thing too. All In is not just an AEW show. All In it's a multi-company show. Because you go back and you look at the original All In. If it's going to be the same as the original All In, it's going to have the same spirit as the original All In. Dude, you could have the original All In had the guys who started AEW, New Japan, NWA, AAA, Impact, like 5 different companies, all had like the NWA world title was defended on that show. You know, on top of other indies and stuff. So, and like I said, and I know like one of the big stickler points with whoever Will Ospreay signs with, he's gonna want them to put support behind Rev Pro. And Rev Pro will probably have at least Rev Pro is going to have some presence at that show. I can almost guarantee you that.
Right. Well, and you could have Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega 2 at Forbidden Door. Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega 3, the rubber match at All In.
I think that's what they're aiming at. Yeah, whoever Goldberg is in the ring with, okay, it can't be. I mean, Goldberg versus Sting.
Yeah.
Okay. That would probably that would be the match that I can think of.
Yeah.
I can see that turning into Goldberg versus The Undertaker, and I don't like that.
Dude, anytime Goldberg steps in the ring, Goldberg is the Nia Jax of his generation. Think about that for a second. How many people did he hurt? How many people? He ended Bret Hart's career, for God's sake, with a stupid ass kick.
That's what he can do. Have a street fight like Bret had with Vince. Just have him beat him up.
And and leg kick. Back to your question there, I would put him. Who would?
I'm gonna say
Jay White wrestle at Forbidden Door. I would put mine seeing Jay White versus Adam Cole.
I wouldn't mind seeing Jay White versus Adam Cole. I think more than likely it will be him versus somebody in New Japan, because the reason why the reason why he's in AEW is because obviously his contract at New Japan ended, but the storyline was that he lost a loser leaves New Japan match against Eddie Kingston of all people. So he lost that match and then he had to leave. But there's a storyline that's developed through that where David Finlay basically usurped his position as leader of Bullet Club. So more than likely, his opponent at Forbidden Door will be him versus David Finlay.
Yeah, and Adam Cole is still going to be in this program with Jericho by the time All In begins. It's going to last a while.
What's that?
Adam Cole is still going to be in the program with Jericho. That's starting just now.
Yeah,
the Clout Vampire is not going to let him go.
Yeah, there's an interesting discussion being had now about Jericho and his place in AEW, but
and I would not mind that match either, leg kick at Forbidden Door.
No, and that match is going to happen. Let me tell you something right now. I very much expect Mercedes Moné to show up by the latest at Forbidden Door. I wouldn't be surprised if she showed up at Double or Nothing. So she's coming. Yeah, that's a matter. That's this, like she's creating. She's got an axe to grind with WWE with all that crap that happens. So she's going to create her own. She's going to create a new women's movement outside of WWE. So, yeah, like White Finlay for the Bullet Club trademark. I could see that. Who will face Okada? I could see the situation with Okada. Okada usually likes challenging the champions, so I could see Okada challenging whoever's at the very least the ROH World Championship, or possibly even Max. You know,
is he still gonna have it by then?
Is what?
Is he still gonna be champion by then?
Oh, Max is gonna be champion. Max will be champion for like at least a year. It would be dumb not to. He's white hot. God. Tonga Loa, I believe, is injured. Tama Tonga has been wrestling singles. Let's see. Where is
You can also have at All In the Elite versus FTR and the best in the world.
Nah, they're gonna have Ken is gonna have a singles match in there.
In at All In.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what they're heading towards.
Yeah. But
Punk. It has been confirmed that Punk is trying to smooth things over with Tony Khan.
Yep.
Maldacito. I think Kota Ibushi. Yeah, I think what's going to happen is you're going to get the Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite at Double or Nothing, and I think Kota Ibushi is going to be involved there because I think Kota is going to be the linchpin that breaks Kenny away from Don Callis. Now we all know that AEW signed Nigel McGuinness. And that right there, I think that's the guy who's going to come in to take the advisor role for Blackpool Combat Club. I think that's a big part of why they hired him. But I like Nigel McGuinness. So
Orange Cassidy versus Zack Sabre.
No, it's going to be Bryan Danielson
again. Oh no! It's supposed to be last year. Danielson got hurt.
That's the match. Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah,
the two best technical wrestlers in the world fighting each other. That's the match. That's the match with Zack. Is Nigel going to commentate too? Yes, and which is fine because you think about I actually like that.
That's what Regal did.
That's what Regal did. Yeah, Regal did. He was commentator on all the Blackpool Combat Club matches.
Yep.
But also, you think about it, you need that over the top heel commentator, and they don't really have that right now. I mean, Taz basically, but not really. Yeah, Nigel's a really good commentator, really, really good commentator. But all right, that's what's up.
Yeah, and with all that going on, Brian Cage re-signs with AEW.
We're gonna get into that, the whole thing. So don't bury the lead. But all right, that's our GBU guys. All right, let's get in right into it. WWE did WWE hand AEW a massive opportunity, and the fact that Jay White signed with AEW over WWE, I think is a big sign that they did. Because the details on Jay, this is how sure WWE was. This is how sure that Triple H was that Jay White was coming to WWE. He had creative working on ideas for him.
Yep,
that's how sure they were. Real quick, do you think Noah will get into Forbidden Door? Very possible. It's very possible. I think Noah could very well be a part of Forbidden Door.
In. Could be definitely all in.
Yeah, definitely at All In. But W has been messing up with booking. Yes, well, that's the Vince factor. So, like we said, like Jay White was absolutely the biggest free agent available in wrestling. We know that Triple H was super over on the guy. He's been talking about him for years. As soon as his New Japan contract was up, you knew they were going to go for the guy. And he a lot of reports, like I said, everybody was almost positive that the guy was going to WWE. But right around the time that his New Japan contract was up, what happens? Vince McMahon starts trying to force his way back into WWE. And the turmoil begins. And Jay, wherever Jay goes, Jay's going to want to be at least close to top of the card. Okay, he's a multiple time world champion in New Japan. He's been one of the biggest heels in the business. And he's not going to want to go under Triple H. I think he was 100% ready to go to WWE. But as soon as Vince started trying to force his way back in, as soon as Vince got back on the board and immediately made himself chairman of the board, fired his own daughter or forced her out, whichever way you want to look at it. As soon as it became clear that the Triple H era was over, I think Jay White did a 360 and went, nope.
Nope.
And So let me just think. According to Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp, Jay signed a multi-year deal with AEW ahead of WrestleMania 39. Said that at that point, WWE was aware of the fact that Switch Day wasn't coming. So while there was a lot of interest in White from WWE and confidence they could sign him, they said the WWE failed to communicate properly along the process. That is Vince. The failure to communicate is 100% Vince, because that's Vince getting in the way. And one of the biggest things that has come out of Vince getting back on the board and basically taking over as this Endeavor deal went through was the fact that they wanted to cut costs, because they wanted the company. They want that, and that's what happens when you're trying to sell a company. You cut down your costs as much as possible to make the company look more profitable than it actually is. And if you look at what Vince was doing the last couple of years, that's what he's been doing. He's cutting down costs. He's getting rid of anything that he considers dead weight to make the company look as profitable as possible.
Yeah.
And also the report coming in, and that's the reason why WWE has not hired a single person since Vince got back on the board. What was it? 4 or 5 months ago?
Something like that.
Longer than that. It was back in October or November. Yeah, it was right around November is when he started trying to force his way back in. So you're talking about 6 months. And that's all. And that's why and we all know that after Bandito, I think so. There were two people that the deal was already in play, and I think it was too far along for Vince to stop it. And that was Bandito and Eric Young. Eric Young, people don't even know that this happened. He re-signed with WWE back in November, and he just disappeared.
Yep.
So whatever whatever they had going with that guy, whatever they were working on with him, it's been shelved. So that's one big element to that situation. The other is we know that WWE, that Vince and Deborah something, I can't remember her name now, from Endeavor, they have put a hire freeze going forward on everything. We also know that as mergers go, when we got two companies that are merging, if there are like positions, one of those positions gets axed.
Yep.
So there's a lot of people behind the scenes that are going to get axed, and I guarantee you, Vince is looking at a lot of this talent, going, "We don't need them. I already fired them. Why are they here?" That's going to happen.
Do we get rid of Kevin Dunn now?
Yeah, Dragon Lee. I'm sorry.
Hey, yo, Big Daddy.
Yo, Big Daddy, the Guardian of Chaos. Yes, all is well.
All is well.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun. Bob Sapp. I have a funny Bob Sapp story with him in WWE. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Malicito. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, Big Daddy, definitely, man. We're doing good. Talk a little bit.
Talking about the craziness, the turmoil of Vince, and the signing of Jay White to AEW. Among other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, breathe. We are all going to breathe with the Switchblade. But going forward, like I said, they said failed to communicate properly on the process, which led to breakdown. And him signing with AEW. W sources believe that not landing Jay White could be due to the return of Vince McMahon and the lack of hires that have taken place in 2023, but has yet to be confirmed. That's all but confirmed.
Yeah.
And we know that the lack of hires is due to the fact that they put a hiring freeze. And like I said, that there was a report that the company was so confident in landing Jay White at one point that Triple H had the creative team devising plans for his debut. Joining All Elite Wrestling, Jay White would continue as a member of the Bullet Club due to the company's relationship with New Japan. White lost a loser leave Japan match against Eddie Kingston at Battle in the Valley. By the way, that was a really great show. You should go back and check that out. But yeah, so that was one of the first inklings that was one of the first indications that Vince was having a major impact on WWE's creative process going forward, because we know Triple H was super high on Jay White, and he had been wanting to get that guy for years. He's been talking about that guy, and here he had his chance to get him. Firm, fair, and consistent. Yeah, we try to be, you know, we're human. We all make mistakes, but like I see, yeah, like they never let me forget that. I thought they were going to recreate the friggin'
Four horsemen, baby.
The Four Horsemen were coming to AEW at one point, and or a
Yeah.
version of it, but it never
Yeah.
happened. But
Cody Rhodes, Four Horsemen.
shut the hell up. Anyway,
Leg
but
kick,
another
have fun. Leg kick, have fun, man.
yeah, that should be cool, dude. Another one, yeah, eliminating redundancies. Yeah, that's what they call it.
Yeah.
But there have been more than that going on. Obviously, one of the biggest re-signings that AEW has had is FTR, which was the main focus for last week's Dynamite. FTR re-signing with AEW, and they are now the two-time World Tag Team Champions. They need to leave those belts on FTR for a long time. Let them have those banger matches that they have. Put some respect back on those belts, man, and just let them have the run, have an amazing run. But Dax Harwood on his podcast, which if you don't listen to his podcast, you need to because it was awesome. He said that one of the reasons why they re-signed with AEW, it was because of Vince. That was not the major reason. That they had already decided to re-sign with AEW before Vince came back, but the fact that Vince came back, but they had to iron out the details, and obviously, so if they decided, like, hey, screw it, we're going to go to WWE, they could have gone to WWE at any time during that time period.
Right.
But during that time period is when Vince came back, and he said, and these are Harwood's exact words. He said, I felt that working for Vince, I was just a number. He said Vince has taught his minions underneath him into thinking everyone is replaceable and everyone is just an object, and he can place these objects wherever he wants. He said, it's like in contrast to Tony, I'm a human being. He cares about me, cares about my feelings, cares about my family. Working for someone like that obviously is going to make our decision much easier when comparing and contrasting to a person who just sees us as a number. So even though they had decided they were probably going to re-sign with AEW and that they were just ironing out the details of their contract, Vince being back definitely had an impact on that. Like once Vince came back, they were like, "Oh yeah, we are totally going this direction."
Yeah. Vince is back. We're going to have to wear Easter Bunny costumes for Easter Sunday.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
gonna have to shave our backs on TV again.
Yeah, that's and that's 100% true. Like was it that there was Shane McMahon did an interview years and years ago, and I think it was Cornette that he said this to. I think it was Jim Cornette that he said this to, and Cornette asked Shane, and this was when Shane was young, back in the Attitude Era days. He asked him, "What's the best piece of advice that your father ever gave you?" And he said that Vince told him, never let your talent know how important they are to your business. See, always lowball them, always make them think that they're on the bubble. You know what I mean? It's like, never let your talent know how important they are to your business. And that's the way Vince has always operated. And now in today's world, that's a very transparent thing. Yeah.
Vince is doesn't want the next Rock. He doesn't want another Stone Cold. He does not want that.
No, he wants the brand to be the superstar. And that's like, I got into an argument with somebody about this. I was saying, dude, Roman Reigns is every bit as big as those guys. I say, no, he's not. Roman Reigns, don't get me wrong. He is the top guy in WWE, 100% hands down. He is the number one guy. He is the guy there. He's not on the same level as far as recognizability and people knowing who he is outside of WWE. He's not a megastar like Stone Cold was. He's not a megastar like The Rock. He's not a megastar like Cena. They don't make those guys anymore because they don't want those guys. They want the brand to be the superstar. And that's how it is going forward. And that's why Cody didn't win at WrestleMania. Now, let me be clear. Or Hogan, all those guys that they used to use those guys to build WWE up. Now, WWE is the star, and they don't want anybody else taking that. Because there's also and it goes back to Vince's philosophy too, is never let your talent know how important they are. When you've got a megastar, they know how important they are, and they can basically the power now shifts to them to a certain extent. They don't want that. Now, like, don't get me wrong, Cody's going to be perfectly fine. These people that are out here saying Cody was buried and like he's done, that's ridiculous. He's not buried. And when he does win the belt, when he does take, finally, finish the story, it's going to be a big deal, and he'll be one of the top guys there, and he'll have a great run, hopefully. But I don't think he will be as crazy big and over as he would have been if he had won at WrestleMania.
Okay.
He is they had a chance to make another Cena. They had a chance to make another megastar at WrestleMania, and they didn't do it.
And it might not happen till next WrestleMania when he wins that title.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. They could push this thing all the way. And like people are saying SummerSlam, I think. Is it SummerSlam or Survivor Series?
For what?
I think it's SummerSlam. They're saying that that Cody's going to win at SummerSlam. Dude, I don't think so. I can see them pushing this all the way back. They could push this to WrestleMania next year. Now, I know everyone's saying that it's supposed to be Roman versus The Rock. I honestly, I don't think so.
Part of it's gonna depend on what they're doing with they're still supposed to be having a draft here soon.
Yeah.
What the end result is of the draft will kind of determine what they're going to do.
Nothing.
Because, could you have Cody win the Royal Rumble again next year?
Yeah.
Possible.
Yeah.
If they don't split the titles,
yeah,
that's what it'll take for him to be at WrestleMania.
That's the biggest problem. Roman has not gone off on vacation like he was supposed to. He's supposed to take like 2 or 3, at least 2 or 3 months off, because one of the things he's supposed to be shooting a movie or something. And but he also just wanted to take some time off because he wants to be a part-timer.
Where is WrestleMania extra large next year?
It's in Philadelphia, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it's in Philadelphia. But anyway, but that's the biggest reason why they didn't pull the trigger on Cody there. And that's totally a Vince move. That's 100% a Vince move.
We didn't talk about sorry, didn't mean to catch you there. We didn't talk about All In June.
Mm-hmm.
Another guy. How about signing Mr. Mickey James?
Mickey James.
Mr. Mickey James. Nick Aldis.
Oh, Aldis? I think again,
hey, he's from England.
Here's the thing. Oh, you mean AEW signing him?
Yeah,
there's definitely a bigger chance of AEW signing him now, especially since, like I said, because they're looking to cut cost. Because Endeavor's looking to cut costs.
Get him for All In. I mean,
they're not going to hire him.
There's an English guy there for you to help draw fans in.
I'm going to tell you something right now. Between now and the time that merger is finalized, anybody that signs with WWE is going to get lowballed. They're going to get lowballed to death. And even after that, I don't think that there's going to be any major movement. And that brings us to, so I don't see him going. I don't see Aldis going to WWE at this point.
No, he'll. But I'm saying a guy from England for All In.
Oh, he's definitely somebody that could be in there. Like I said, I think Rev Pro is going to factor very heavily into All In. But the big one right now, like obviously the biggest free agent was Jay White. The big one now is Drew McIntyre. Because we know McIntyre's contract is coming up. And we also know that he is not happy with what JD calls the two C's, creative and cash. He doesn't like how he's been booked. And to be fair, this guy went from being the next big thing to being a mid-carder.
Yep.
That's not something that somebody who's been a world champion wants to be. And he hasn't, and even when he was a champion, he was not booked well. He wasn't booked strong. And I personally think that they dropped the ball with him. Now, was he buried? No. There's people like to use the word buried way too often these days. He's had a good career. He just has not been what he should be, and considering his ability. Steve Hickson said Roman just has the arrive, get acknowledged, and leave every once in a while. On Friday, he could still do movies the rest of the week. Yeah, and I think that's what they're going to do. I think he'll show up, cut a promo, and leave.
Yep.
And somebody else in the bloodline will wrestle for him or something like that. Which I think they have to do that because they got to keep those belts on TV. But McIntyre, he's in a position right now where, like I said, WWE and Endeavor are in cost cutting mode. Any deal that they float to him right now, he's going to get lowballed.
Yeah.
He's going to get low, and like he's looking to be one of the top guys in the company. He wants to get paid, $1-2 million a year, at least $1 or $2 million a year. He's not going to get that.
And any chance of seeing Almost versus Brian Cage is over.
Oh, there's no
Brian Cage is
dude,
locked in the AEW.
Dude, that dude did a 360 whoosh. Dude, as soon as Vince got back over there, man, he stopped talking like, yeah, I ain't going back. I ain't going over there. Forget that. Even though he's a big super jacked guy, which is exactly what Vince loves. And he's a big dude that can wrestle. But he ain't gonna be a world dude. They're not gonna make him the world champion over there.
Nope. And that's why he re-signed with AEW.
Yep, he re-signed. He's got it's a joint AEW ROH contract. I think it's for like the next 3 years. But yeah, that's another guy that did a 360, man, and was like, nope. So right there, 3 of the biggest acts in wrestling, FTR, who absolutely are the biggest tag team in the world right now. Between them and the Briscoes, everything that happened between them, they are the biggest tag team in the world right now. Jay White, who was without a doubt the biggest free agent, and Brian Cage, who definitely WWE did say they were interested in. I could see him going to NXT and going up against Braun Breaker, and just two big guys slapping meat, man, which would be amazing.
Now, would you like to see an FTR Usos type run with the belts?
Yes, I want to see FTR. If they need to build right now. Okay, so AEW still has the best tag team division in all of wrestling, but they did take a couple of hits. They need to build it back up to what it was, and to do that, you need to keep those belts on FTR and just let them have friggin' banger matches against people, man. Let them have that match series that they wanted with the Bucks that they never got. They need to have that. Let them have that. Put him in against the Lucha Brothers. Put him in there against Gates of Agony over in ROH. Put him in there against whoever wins the ROH Tag Team Championship.
The ROH, that's Lucha Brothers.
Yeah, that's why. My brain doesn't want to work, man. Yeah, put him in against the Lucha Brothers. Put him in against Aussie Open. I want to see them against the Motor City Machine Guns. Proud and Powerful are back.
Acclaimed.
Well, Proud and Powerful they're back.
Well, Santana's still on the shelf.
Yeah, Santana's. But there's also the behind the scenes issues between Santana and Ortiz because their friendship had a massive falling out. So. But I want to get back on Drew McIntyre. So here's the thing. I think, like JD said, I think McIntyre saw the writing. He sees the writing on the wall. He knows he's not going to get the deal he wants with WWE. There's only one place he's going to get the kind of money that he wants, and that's with Tony Khan.
Yep.
So here's the thing. McIntyre is one of those dudes that. But here's one thing. There are a couple other companies out there that would probably be willing to pay him and push him as the top guy. All right. Yeah. So does he go to a smaller company like an NWA or an MLW or a New Japan? which New Japan's not a smaller company, but it's an entire different environment, and be the top guy, and maybe take a little bit less money, build himself up, and then go for that Uber payday? Or does he just go for the Uber payday right out the gate? I think he just goes for the Uber payday out the gate.
NWA and MLW, no chance in hell. Not happening.
Dude, he's gone to smaller places before.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen anymore.
Just
Yeah.
go right back to Impact.
Dude,
and
another
return
one.
there.
Like I said, I know, like another one, Rev Pro needs that big dude. That those big. I mean, they've got Osprey, but that's pretty much all they've got right now.
Right. You wouldn't want to see McIntyre versus Hammerstone?
Alexander Hammerstone, that'd be great. Him against Jacob Fatu,
Oh yeah.
that'd be awesome. You know, he can. And here's the thing:
Another
if he
Samoan
can
for
work,
him. Another Samoan for him
Yeah.
to get buried against.
if he can, but here's the thing: if he can figure out a way to sign with AEW, but still allow him to do, and that's what a lot of these guys are doing. They're signing contracts with AEW that let them go to other places as well, like Moxley. You know, like Moxley's Moxley can go work for anybody he wants as long as it doesn't hamper his work in AEW. I could see him doing that and just going I could see him doing that and doing the Cody thing, going and building himself back up to the point where he's undeniable, and then go to WWE and says, okay, now hire me, and you're going to hire me at what I want. So I could see him doing that. Jacob Fatu with GOD would be awesome. Yeah, it would. Freaking hell, dude. Yeah, I need to look up and see what's going on with Tongaloa. He's I know he was hurt for a while. With the freeze, what's Andrade gonna do? Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, man, Andrade is probably shitting a brick.
Yep.
He hasn't burned his bridges with AEW, but he came pretty damn close.
Yeah, he did.
And same thing with Miro. Miro, like, honestly, I think the situation with Miro's wife is what's caused all these problems, because she has a tendency to run her mouth, and she said some things that like really pissed off Tony Khan. So I think that's where that's at. I do think, you know what, I do think you're going to see those guys back. I think they're going to show up in ROH. I think they're going to be in Ring of Honor, and which is good. You know, that's good. Ring of Honor needs that star power. But yeah, honestly, I think unless Triple H can get in there, can get into like I said, that lady from Endeavor and Vince, and just listen, we can't let this guy go to another company. We can't let this guy go to AEW. I honestly don't see him re-signing with WWE. I can see him letting his contract run out. And here's the thing: if his contract runs out, he can go sign with AEW and be on there the next day. So I think there's a very good chance that Drew McIntyre is done with WWE, at least for now. I think if he's, you know, and like I said, he's a good enough guy, he could leave, he could go to AEW. If Tony Khan's smart, and then this brings up another issue. Team Miro with Cheeseburger. That would be freaking badass, man. I would love to see that. Here's the issue, though. We know that Tony has a problem booking big guys. Drew McIntyre is a big dude. Is he gonna Wardlow Drew? Is he gonna have him come in with a big pomp and circumstance, and then he gets booked lukewarm?
Most likely, yes.
Okay.
Somebody needs to step in, and if that starts to happen, if Tony starts to do that, someone needs to step in and smack the shit out of him and be like, "What are you doing? You need to stop this crap right now."
Yeah,
that's the concern I have with Drew going to AEW.
Now we've got Double or Nothing in May 28th. Yep. You got Forbidden Door a month later on June 25th, and then 2 months later you've got All In.
Mm-hmm.
They need to use Forbidden Door to start pushing All In.
Yeah,
see, you don't want to wait till July to start setting up your matches for All In.
No, that was one of the mistakes that they made last time. Well, part of what happened last time was the injuries that killed a lot of things. But they didn't. But also because they were still finalizing the deal and everything, they didn't have access to the New Japan guys until like 2 weeks before the friggin' show. So they need to make sure that they don't do that again. Drew to New Japan would be good. Drew could go to New Japan and legit be the top guy immediately.
Oh yeah,
because they love big dudes, man. They love big American dudes. But he's not going to get paid what he wants because New Japan contracts are not that as lucrative as Western contracts are. So that's the thing. He's going to have to take a travel. He'll immediately be inserted into the top level, but he's going to have to take, less money than he's going to want. So that's the issue with the New Japan. That's the issue with an MLW or an NWA or an Impact. He's going to have to take less money. He'll be immediately in the title scene, but that's the trade-off. Now with AEW, if Tony Khan's smart,
Sheesh.
if Tony Khan's smart about it, if he were to go over there, he could immediately be both. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Vader, Hansen, Gordy, Dr. Death, Bigelow, they were all massively over in New Japan.
yeah.
Yeah, he's Scottish. Yeah, we know.
Put Aldis versus McIntyre.
That would
at
be
All
cool.
In.
Though. That would be cool. At All In?
Yeah. You're getting a Scottish and English guy at Wembley Stadium. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, don't we? Yeah, it would be awesome.
You've got
I
to
would
bring
like
in
to
the guys from that area to try to generate for that.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. But I said American. No, I said
You did.
Did I say American? I meant to say Western. Drew versus Ospreay. That would be a massive clash of styles. I still think it would be good though. They almost, I swear, didn't they meet in the Rev Pro tournament when he was going under the name of Drew Galloway?
Don't know.
I think they did. I think it was a great match, and that's been when Ospreay was like super flippy. Now the version of Ospreay we have now, that would be fantastic. Drew, man, you put Ospreay in the ring with damn near anybody, he's gonna be friggin' amazing.
And as much as Drew McIntyre has done for the E,
Mhm.
to go from the 3-man band to being
The
where
world
he is-
champion,
world champion where he is now, it's just like,
yeah. And but here's the thing: he had to leave for that to happen.
yeah.
He had to leave, go on the circuit, get jacked to the gills, because he came back, he was ripped. And but we're getting a little long-winded. I agree. But yeah, like so to bring it back around, WWE has handed AEW a massive opportunity. They've got some people re-signed that they were in the chance of losing. They got their hands on one of, in my opinion, the second best heel in the business, in Jay White. Oh no, I said no.
Oh, Guardian wants us to keep going.
Oh, okay. Mary Jane. Oh yeah, here you go. Yeah. Get a take a hit. Take a hit for me too. But if they're not careful, they're gonna hand Drew McIntyre over to AEW because that's the only place that he can go to get the money that he wants and potentially be inserted into the place that he wants with the creative that he wants.
Yeah.
Is that gonna happen? I think it's gonna. I do think it's gonna happen, specifically because of what's going on right now. And if Tony Khan was smart, he would see that that WWE has handed him a chance to shift that momentum back to AEW. And if he, like I said, he needs to get out of his own way and make these moves and get this done, and AEW could immediately be right back to where they were before the scrum.
Yeah. Because if you look at the E, the last 2 Raws, yesterday and last week,
Last week's was legitimately in my personal opinion, one of the 5 worst Raws of all time. At least one of the 5 worst Raws of all time. It was bad.
And I don't
It
care what
was
the
really
and I don't
bad.
care what the ratings say. It's your Raw
Well,
after WrestleMania.
Yeah, well,
It's supposed to be a killer Raw, and
Yeah.
it was not.
yeah, the Raw after WrestleMania is always big because I was going to look at the fallout. But there was a huge drop from the last week to this week. Obviously, this week was better, but then again, it was very flat. It almost felt like, and again, that's part of that was because they only had half the roster, but even without it, it just felt very uninspired. But yeah, so WWE, I feel personally, because of the situation, because of Vince being back involved, because of the turmoil behind the stage, because with everything that's swirling, oh yeah, I've seen you on OTS with my boy. Yeah, dude, I like JD. I think he gets a little animated and a little crazy sometimes, but I think he's got really good takes. But this is only an opportunity if AEW pulls the trigger.
No.
And Tony needs to shore up his flaws of the last few months. He needs to really apply himself towards healing the rift that's happened. He needs to make moves and get shit done. So the thing that is his greatest strength is also his greatest weakness. He wants to be everybody's friend. He needs to realize that sometimes you can't. So he needs to. So this is a massive opportunity that's been handed to AEW. They gotta capitalize on it. And that's it. Anything you guys want to add?
No, actually, I gotta go right now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, appreciate you being here, Johnny, and everybody else. Real quick.
No problem. See you guys.
See you, Johnny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. He's huge. He's huge. And to be honest, we need to, like, one of the things that he does is he's got awesome production quality, and we need to, and that's what I want to do going forward. I want to work on the production quality of our show, and do more than one show a week, and just try to grow this thing. But anyway, thanks everybody who's here. Big Daddy, Maldacito, Leg Kick,
Hicks Villain,
Courtney,
Courtney,
the Guardian of Chaos, and
the Sammy
my
P,
buddy,
the Sammy
Sam,
P, Great Council,
which is Darth Daddy Lunga. Appreciate you being here, brother, man. We've been talking up on Twitter and whatnot about wrestling. Appreciate everybody who's here, guys, and yeah, catch you guys next week. Should be fun.
Yeah.
Bye.